Now for the rant wheel. Here's how it works. We spin the wheel. We rant on whatever topic it lands upon. This week on the wheel, we have Bob Woodward. We have dipping chicken fingers in Diet Coke. We have the white power hand signal Twitter sleuths. Mosquitoes in LA. A sex offender in the movie The Predator. Women directors. Conservative hypocrisy about content. And a quarantined plane. Let's spin the wheel.
Yes!
It has landed on white power hand signal Twitter sleuths. So, during the first day of the Kavanaugh hearings, there was a woman sitting behind Brett, soccer dad Kavanaugh, who at one point scratched her arm and then rested her hand on her arm in a way that suggested, that hinted at an okay sign. So, you know, the okay sign. I can't make it anymore. I'll be fucking banished from the internet. But and all of these people just immediately jumped to the conclusion that she was flashing a white power sign during the hearing without knowing who she was, knowing anything about her, knowing where how she got there. You know, there are a lot of people out there making white power signs and who feel liberated and free to do it now. There are a lot of people who are normalizing white nationalist sentiment. They do have inroads in the White House. There are people, Stephen Miller and his acolytes. There was just a person at DHS who was revealed to be someone who goes to dinners where they refer to being Jewish free. There have been people at the Charlottesville protests who turned out to be members of the military and members of the government. It is a serious accusation and an important accusation. It becomes more important to be right because it's happening, not less important. The fact that these people are now who now feel as though they are safe and now have quarter in the government means you should be fucking careful when you make the accusation because it needs to count. That was what I took away from that. It has landed on a sex offender in The Predator. Why we did not grab the low-hanging fruit of Predator in The Predator, I don't know. I regret it, but Kara, this was your suggestion.
So, as far as I can tell, there's a movie coming out called The Predator, which is about a mean alien with dreadlocks. That's all I can tell that it's about. But the director is a man named Shane Black, I believe. And so basically the story broke where he had cast his buddy in the movie, and they find out he's a registered sex offender who spent 6 fucking months in jail for soliciting a 14-year-old on the goddamn internet. And you know who figured it out? Olivia Munn, who was in the movie with him. Women, again, having to do all the goddamn work. And what I love is that originally this guy was in the movie, and the director released a statement that was like, you know, he explained it to me. It was a misunderstanding. And then now he's like, I was misled. And let me tell you something. If one of my friends goes to jail for 6 months for soliciting a 14-year-old, I have questions from the jump. From the very beginning, he was like, I've now read the affidavit. I've seen that he really did do it. Why didn't you ask that from the very beginning? You just believed what he said when he pled guilty. And really, I just feel like these fucking dudes, you have shitty friends. You know they're shitty. You know they're awful. You know they're rapists. You know they're fucking predators. Stop hiring them. Stop being their friends. Stop after the fact saying, oh yeah, that was weird. Oh yeah, he was kind of creepy. That girl did say he raped her, but I mean, he's my friend. This happens all the time. Fucking stop it. You know they're bad people. You know they're awful, and you're part of the fucking problem when you don't expunge them from your fucking life. Be done with it.
Let's spin it again. It has landed on women directors, and Emily is here to come out against.
Too emotional. No, okay, so I was a little bit nervous about doing this show because I have been in Italy the last week at the Venice Film Festival. And if you ever want to get completely protected from the news and not have any of it enter your consciousness, go to a film festival in Italy. It's just like you're on another planet entirely. But some of the problems still exist there that exist here. And I think Venice had one film out of 21 in its competition that was directed by a woman this year. Just to give you some comparison, Toronto is just started yesterday. And I think they're at 33% in their competition. Again, not great, not parity, but like they're trying. And there's a group called the 50/50 by 2020 group that is trying to push for parity by the year 2020 in all the major international film festivals. They campaigned at Cannes, and there was a big thing you might have seen where Cate Blanchett and a bunch of people got up on some steps and they got them to sign for this agreement for transparency and trying to get more women in the festival. But at every festival, the North American ones are doing better on the whole, but a lot of the European ones consistently say it's quality that they're judging first, as if like a group of men has an idea of quality that is inherently objective and infallible, and you hear this over and over and over again, and it's insane.
I will add only this. Cate Blanchett has some nerve standing up there when she loves Woody Allen, and has shown no remorse and no interest in adjusting her behavior. End of thought.
Well, she just didn't know about any of that stuff. She doesn't ask about people's personal lives.
Yeah, Kara.
Yeah.
It's nice.
She should ask her friends too.
She should ask her friends. Everyone should get better friends, I think, in general.
But if you do have shitty friends of any sort, don't hire them on your project. Like that feels like avoidable.
When you have a shitty friend, someone who's a fucking mess, again, not a molester, but just someone who's just a fucking mess, every once in a while, you meet them for a drink and you say, "Hey, how are you? What's going on?"
Yeah.
How you holding up? You just check in and you say, "Where are you in
Still
life?" Okay. Maintaining a bad status quo, not sinking further, not rising higher. Got it. See you in 4 months.
You know, I think also if you have like a friend who's maybe like a middle-class white guy who was convicted of a felony, he's guilty. They don't send them away on bullshit. He did it. He definitely did it. Didn't get railroaded. He did it. Pretty much it.
Yeah. The Jinx did it.
Yeah. Do another.
Adnan did it.
I agree.
What, are we
I
all
agree.
Kim Kardashian? We just watched Serial this past month? Like, come on.
Tone's not right in those interviews. It's not right. I get the vibe. He should be madder at his friend. It's not right. It's like someone who knows how to be right. Don't make me listen if I can't draw my own conclusions. Spin it again. It has landed on conservative hypocrisy around social media and the First Amendment. Josh, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier Alex Jones screaming at or near Marco Rubio in the Capitol this week. You had other right-wing media figures like Laura Loomer there to beg the government to protect them from private companies that they think are not being nice to them when they try to post on their websites. And it used to be that conservatives understood that you don't really want the government too involved in these sorts of things, because when the government starts telling people, what kind of content they have to post, it might in the future make decisions you don't like. It might even be run by people who disagree with you on things. This is not a problem for the government to fix. This is something, if the market is not being nice to you, kind of tough shit, you have no constitutional right to post on Facebook. Twitter doesn't have to allow you to have an account. These things are not public utilities. And it used to be a conservative position to say that these things were not public utilities. But now, because they've completely abandoned the pretense of the idea that they are a free market party, they are Trump's party, and Trump, likes businesses that are nice to him and doesn't like businesses that are mean to him, it sort of makes sense to all these people that you would have the government come in and tell these sites what to do. And it's ridiculous, and it's definitely not conservative.
Yeah, certainly. And I also... Oh, you guys want to talk about regulating big tech? Let's talk about their monopolistic practices. No? You don't want to talk about that? Let's talk about net neutrality. No, you don't want to talk about that? You want a regulation that just has to say Alex Jones is allowed? That's it? Just one line? That's what you're worried about? That's what's keeping you up at night? Spin it again. It has landed on dipping chicken fingers in Diet Coke. This is a good place to leave it. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a video circulating of a lovely woman at some sort of a sporting event. I believe she was surrounded by children, and she was eating chicken fingers, and she used her own Diet Coke as like a dipping sauce and eat them. You know what? There was a guy named Steve Jobs. And he looked at the world and he said, think different. And then this woman came along. She is the Steve Jobs of dipping chicken into artificially sweetened beverages. I think it is innovative. I think it is basically sugar-free honey. It's a great idea. And also, to put this in larger context, in general, I think we're all a bit too persnickety about mixing foods. There's a lot of people who are like, these two foods don't go well together. I actually, to be honest, have very rarely come across two foods that don't go well together. I think it's all bullshit. I think that when you eat a bite of a sandwich and take a bite of dessert, it's good. It's always good. You never like start vomiting if you accidentally combine two different parts of your plate incorrectly. It's like, oh, I don't know what we're talking about now. When everyone's like, oh, this pairs well with a red wine or a white wine, like, what are you fucking talking about? I don't get it. I don't get pairing. I don't get thinking it's gross to dip your food in soda. I think everything goes well together. And I think this woman should be applauded for her innovation. What? Why is ketchup? Ketchup makes sense, but Diet Coke doesn't make sense. Oh, you dip your food into what big food tells you to dip it into. You see these studies? The oats are filled with pesticides. You can't trust any of this. One last point about this. I have come to realize that I have Diet Coke with virtually every bit of food I consume all day. Diet Coke is incredibly sweet. It is incredibly sweet food. And so really what I am doing is convert, and I eat something and then I take a sip of soda. I eat something, I take a sip of soda. So what am I doing? I'm dipping every single thing I eat all day, every day in Diet Coke. Diet Coke basically turns every food into dessert. I have been eating dessert for every bite of every food I have eaten for basically the last 25 years of my life, ever since Fran Lovett switched the Lovett household from regular Coca-Cola to Diet Coca-Cola in 1994, and we all lost 10 pounds.